so much more refreshing to drink my water out of a Rossmann Group mug. RossmannGroup.com/notlying. Get yours today at RossmannGroup.com/notlying to let people in your family know, your friends, family, associates, coworkers, that it's not lying, it's commercial real estate. Gotta say, I think it's one genuinely high-quality meme out of working with that terrible, terrible broker. You know? Should always look at the upsides of life. When life gives you lying brokers, make lying broker mugs. That's RossmannGroup.com/notlying. RossmannGroup.com/notlying. Hint, they actually are. All right, so today we're going to get started working on a MacBook Air that seems to have no power. We're going to open this thing up, see what's going on with it, see if it is fixable. Let's go. It's not lying. When she said she wasn't lying, you should have said, okay, boomer. I wasn't aware of the meme yet, Anel. Also, I'm kind of a boomer myself. How's it going, Mr. Travis? Time to steal some more of Paul's magnets. For those of you who are on the Patreon, you may have gotten early access to a pre-construction video. I'll be posting some more stuff there as I go. Looks like my Restream chat window is not including Twitch chat in it. That's just great. Really? Really, OBS Restream chat? You're gonna do me like that? You're going to not show me the chat from... Oh, that's lame. Okay. I'll go back to using sheep chat. I don't like sheep chat. Okay. Zoomer. Doomer. Boomer. How did things work out with Alan and his fee? I wound up... What? Why are you not showing up? Are you really not showing alerts, you mother flower? Shit. I just heard a donation and it didn't show up. Streamlabs, are you drunk? Streamlabs is drunk. Streamlabs, you're drunk. Why? YouTube is still not doing alerts. Christopher Kelly says, did you get my email about a couple of phone numbers toll free? I did, it's just that is not on the top of the priority list at the moment, so I haven't registered it. Dealing with architect that doesn't get back to me more than once a day. And, you know, it's interesting. It's really this architect appears to have this idea that they're worth $7,000 when they've already given me false and misleading information regarding the building. I mean, having to do construction, the certificate of occupancy. They have also, and like I'm only allowed to ask one question a day. If I ask, let's say, you know, we're thinking of this material. What do you think of it? Okay, so now what color is it? Like, that question has to wait till the next day. I get one question a day. I try to offer faster answering of questions to people who are paying me $100. Yeah, but yeah, I've just been trying to balance dealing with contractor, with making money, with everything else. So the phone number has been like... I mean, I know this sounds rude, but that's been so far at the bottom of the priority list, you have no idea. Like that, registering that number is like, I think 2 steps above cleaning Oreo's bunghole. when he doesn't wipe his ass. I genuinely appreciate that you found me a toll-free number, but unfortunately right now with all the stuff that I have to keep track of, that's just not, yeah, it's not something that I got done yet. Sorry if that sounds dickish. No other folder, Christopher Kelly. Other folder is only for highly intelligent, multi-millionaire engineering women that are attractive, that find me attractive. That's what that folder is for. It's not for other... Not to say that you aren't attractive, Christopher Kelly. I can see from that avatar picture that your beard is on point, but, you know, just not, it's not my style. All right, so let's figure out what's wrong with this MacBook. Now, as you can see, it's very sticky, and it's kind of nasty on the inside of it. Very disgusting. So what we're going to do is what I usually do with any of these machines. We're going to unplug the battery and then plug in the charger so that we can see how much power it is taking. Business comes first. If I make sure they're going to go in the other folder. Thank you, Christopher. Okay, that's bullshit. Fuck you, Streamlabs. Seriously? Yeah, I guess that's broken today. I gotta delete that donation link because the stuff doesn't show up on the screen. Oh, man. That's lame. That's so lame. Let's double check that the link has to be right because I haven't changed it. Okay. Alert box. Let's see. Test super chat. Okay, let's see. Is it the widget URL? So this is, let's see, maybe they changed the widget URL or something. But I doubt that's the case because if they did, I wouldn't be hearing that. Alright, let's see. Just in case they did. Maybe they did. Alright, we changed that. Nope. That's just Streamlabs being broken. Sorry about that. So if I got to get rid of that link and turn this off so that people don't think I'm ignoring them. That sucks. Oh well. Anyway. See, what if I actually go to that URL that they give in the browser? I'm going to go to their URL in the browser and hit test super. Okay, that's crazy. It shows up there, but it don't show up. Maybe it's Open Broadcaster that's being... Is Open Broadcaster boomering me? I think it is. Okay, there we go. Okay, Open Broadcaster was boomering me. Turning it on and off again fixed it. Paul Daniel says you need to change the screen to portrait mode. Alright. So what we're going to do with this machine is do what we do most of the time, which is unplug the battery and then plug in the power supply's MagSafe so that we can see how much power that is using. Now we are going to turn on Paul Daniels' multimeter software as well as Circuit Specialist's lovely power supply software. And as you can see, the Circuit Specialist software is always going to start up faster than the Paul Daniels software. Now this actually did turn on, but the fan doesn't seem to be spinning. It also turned on, but then immediately stopped, which is interesting. So let's try that again. Alright, so the fan is clicking. There's some junk in the fan. Now it just chimed, and we get an apple. So you need an ultrasonic cleaning and a new fan. That's not a board repair to do on camera. Yeah. Next. Kind of curious to see if the trackpad is corroded. I should check that before I go. I do a stream to show how to ultrasonic the board clean the board without breaking it. I did, but it's really it's an aggravating video that I did a while back. I sound like an asshole in it. But I did a video about ultrasonicking, I think back in 2014. But it's terrible. People are gross. Look at that screen. Hey, I agree with you. I clean my screen constantly. I actually have this special bottle. This is not alcohol. This is Uvex screen cleaner, UVEX screen cleaner. I clean my phone and my computer several times a day. I'll use it on my keyboard as well. You know, because I value cleanliness. Because I'm, not a Mac user. So this is not corroded. Okay, inside needs cleaning, ultrasonic of board, and that's that. Trackpad cable looks fine. Needs ultrasonicking of board, new fan, and cleaning of inside with a rag and some... Next. What's next? One day, okay, next machine here. One day I opened the MacBook to use it and played the chime, but no screen. Then fan started to spin fast, my battery cover, then it booted, but very throttled. I set it down. Early video for Patreons. What about GoFunders? I actually posted it on there. So if you gave to the GoFundMe, you should have gotten a nice little spam email with a link to that video. Oh, and it was posted as an update on the page, I believe, as well. I just posted it later because I forgot. But it should actually be there as well. Because that video I used a different URL for GoFundMe, and I posted that around 3 or 4 in the morning, and it got, let's see, That video got 352 views, so I'm guessing that worked. But it should be there. And thank you very much if you were a part of that campaign. It says, now right before packing the MacBook, I just tried it again, and now it shows green light on the charger when plugged in, but when I press the power button, it turns to what I assume is red. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to check out this next MacBook here. So let's get that from slot E10. Do you have any new pictures of Phoebe the kitten cat? No. Oh, I like Phoebe. Kevin should go home. He sounds terribly sick.
Yeah, he's not gonna leave.
He knows he gets paid if he goes home for a sick day, right?
I'll ask him.
He's working like he thinks it's 1870. He didn't get an STD, did he? Because this always seems to happen on Monday morning, and he goes out partying on Saturday and Sunday.
Good question.
And after hearing about his experience at some of these parties, I'm concerned that perhaps he doesn't have a cold, but an STD. If he gets an STD test, I'll pay for it. But action. Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we have an A1502 MacBook that's not powering on. Let's take a look at this thing and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. So, get this thing over here on the desk. Okay, this person paid for the good SSD, you can tell. Look at that. Look at that bad boy. This person has what I imagine to be a terabyte SSD in there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, which is what we do with most of these machines, is we're going to see how much power it's taking when we plug it in, but without the battery attached. Knowing how much power the board is taking by itself is going to be very informative. So it's taking what appears to be 24 milliamps. Green light. Now the customer, 255 milliamps. 189 milliamps. Now the customer says when they hit the power button that the light turns colors, but it never actually turns on. Now I'm not experiencing that. I don't see the light on the charger turning colors here. This seems to be staying orange and not turning back to green. Let's just take the board out of here and examine it and see what's going on. Now 186 milliamps, that's a strange one because usually 100 to 110 milliamps is all this power good is missing, but other rails are present. Donald Hanson donated $2 for Kevin's STD test. I'll be sure to pass that along. Let's see. So we're going to take the board out of here and see what's going on. Now 100 to 110 milliamps usually also says power good missing. 250 to 260 milliamps is usually a PP Bush D3 hot short, but 160 to 180 milliamps, I've never seen that before, so that's going to be a new one. Now the thing is, once I figure out what's wrong with this board, I'm going to be able to extrapolate that into the the milliamps that it was taking and understand why it was. Let's restart. Cut. So once I figure out what's wrong with the board, I'm then going to associate that in a little spreadsheet that is stored in my brain with the milliamps that it was taking when I plugged it in. So the next time I'm getting 160 to 180 milliamp draw, I will look exactly in the same space that I looked in on this one rather than going through the long troubleshooting process. So that is how this works. Did I tell you that the Rewa lady that showed up, they said they want to pay you to take part in their forum or whatever? So I said, cool, what do they want me to do and how much? He's like, oh, we talk about that later. It's like, no, fuck it. Yeah, suck, no. Did I tell you that they wanted to have take over Jess's course and have somebody teach it who did never replaced the TriStar before? Even I've replaced the TriStar. Defcon and ID donated another $2 for STD test. I will be sure to pass that on. Thank you very much. Okay. Must be the season for I haven't seen that before. I had an A1466 that explicitly wouldn't talk to its screen but would talk to others. And other boards wouldn't talk to the original screen. NVRAM reset fix. That's an interesting one, Paul. I've never come across that before ever. And that's... Well, STD testing fluid, says Coda Jackson, for £2. Thank you. So, yeah, that's an interesting problem. I've never experienced that before. And I'm kind of curious are the displays in any way serialized? Because I know that there are EDID codes in the screens that are read over DisplayPort, but the EDID code should be the same for every single screen that is of a certain model. Like all the LP133 WP1 TJAs, all the LP133 WP1 TJA1s, and so on and so forth. $2 for condoms after STD test. Okay, fuck it. For fuck's sake. Poor Kevin. Steve! I forgot to hit the mute button when I was talking to you, and I just thought I'd show you what's been showing up here.
Oh, shit.
So Donald Hanson gave $2 for Kevin's STD test. Zcoin, here's another $2 for STD test. Coda Jackson, STD testing fund. Northside Service Company gave $2 for condoms after STD test. Oh, I know, I fucked up. And somebody else said, they gave through Streamlabs. Let me see, where is that? Fluids for STD test. JP gave $2 for a pregnancy test, which is the alternative STD test.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, man. You didn't mean to.
Fuck. God damn it. Oh, I'm a bad boss. I had good intentions. I had good intentions. I guess. All right, we're going to take a look at this MacBook. What do you all see? All right, so this is close to an all-sys power good issue. So we have a lot of corrosion on this chip over here, and this is going to be responsible for creating voltage for the memory. Let me just open up Paul Daniels' board view software. And we're going to open up a board view for this model board, which is the 820-4924. And as you can see on the screen, it looks like Paul Daniels has fixed his software because it doesn't open vertically anymore. It actually opens in the orientation that a normal person would view the board on the table. So everybody give a nice round of applause to Paul Daniels for fixing the software. So it looks like what we have corrosion on is going to be a backlight chip, no biggie, and it looks that stuff looks like superficial corrosion. You see that's blue stuff, but it hasn't really rusted much out yet. Whereas this has destroyed a couple of resistors. You can see the destroyed resistors right in that section. That may actually work again. So I'm going to grab a couple of Q-tips. David picked up some of these spear Q-tips that I think are really cool. I have to find where he ordered them from and model number and all that. They're shaped like a spear. Very, very impressive. Now, usually I don't clean away the corrosion. I flux and reflow. But this stuff looks like it's going to smell really nasty. I'm not sure what it is about this particular corrosion that tells me it's going to smell disgusting. But today I'm just not in the mood to smell something that's really disgusting. So I'm cleaning it a little bit before I get started with the flux and the rework and everything else. Because I don't know what it is about today. It's just I'm not in the mood to smell something that is disgusting. It's just not in my tolerances for today. Xylux said, I sent an email per your request about last stream subject, not being lazy. Let me know if it helps. Yeah, I saw that you sent it. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but it is in a folder of stuff to read. I appreciate it. Thank you, because that's going to help me with putting together some better content in the future. Thank you very much for taking the time for that. So we do this, and we're going to do a little bit of reflowing, see what happens, and then after that we're going to do probably a little bit of replacing. Do you see less repairs for newer MacBooks, and do you think common repairs will vanish with improvements by Apple? I don't see as many for the newer because people don't treat things like shit until they've owned it for a while. So it takes a while for people to start treating the machine like shit. And that's the thing when it comes to any of this stuff. So some of this stuff I may be able to save, and some of it is in it just doesn't belong on a board. Like this chip over here on the bottom, this 6-leg thing can be saved. This one, there's no saving that. We're just dumping it. Let's get some more light up here. Here's some money for Kleenex tissue as masturbation is safer, says UKSDT Clinic. Thank you. Yeah, the legs were off of that chip entirely. That had to go. This is a current sensing resistor here. Now what a current sensing resistor is going to do, there's going to be a small voltage drop from here to here or here to there, and that small voltage drop is typically going to be tied to the amount of amperage the system is using. A lot of this stuff is actually savable over here with a little bit of reflow. Some of the stuff I thought was totally destroyed is actually not in bad condition. Now the problem, let's say if there's too much corrosion in the current sensing section, what happens is the machine is going to think that it's using way more current than it is. So let's say there's a way bigger voltage difference between here and here than what they're supposed to be. The chip is going to think, oh my god, I'm using 80 amps to power the RAM. Let me turn down before I destroy something. and that keeps it from destroying the rest of the system. And one of the things that I actually really commend Apple for is in their backlight circuits, not on the Airs, but on the Retina models from 2013 and up, their backlight circuit started including a current sensing circuit so that it wouldn't destroy the fuse and everything else. It's actually a pretty nice system that they put into place so that if there's a short, it's not going to try and deliver current anyway into it. It's sometimes it acts a little bit faster than a fuse would act, and it's really nice, a nice feature that they added into the boards to make it a little bit easier to fix them, but less time consuming, and it does less damage. And it's probably better for safety as well. Apple started doing that in late 2013, early 2014 with the Retina models. And I don't think they did it with the Air models until 2019. But it's something, it's a small step in the right direction. And any step in the right direction that Apple takes with regards to durability or repairability is something that should always be should be rewarded with positive reinforcement. And they did that with this one. So this one, as you can see, you have your current sensing resistor for the backlight circuit, and this is going to sense how much current the backlight is using, and if it's using too much, it turns it off before the fuse even has a chance to blow. So, on a lot of these, the fuse wasn't blowing until the entire thing was destroyed, and it's really nice to see that they reconsidered the design, make it a little bit more a little bit more durable, a little bit more fixable. It's always nice. It shows that that somebody at some levels was thinking of the consumer and thinking about the product's quality. I don't see that very often, but even when I see it in these small little ways, I think Apple deserves to be commended for it. Because if you commend people when they do something right, they're likely to want to do that again. And you got to think about what motivates people. It's important. So. Okay, so now we're going to go over here, and this is going to be a little bit of scraping. Okay, a lot of scraping. Do we have pads there anymore? Looks like the board is bleeding. Can't see anything. Alright, so this is going to be pretty difficult. As you can see, this current sense resistor is going to a probe point that's really damaged. So let's take a look at what that is for on my Paul Daniels software over here. So if you take a look at the Paul Daniels software, which, I will try to take a look at here and be happy about, you'll see that this is the current sense resistor. Let's see, that's a current sensing resistor, R5400, for PP-Bus S5 high-side computing iSense. I'm honestly not sure what that's supposed to be powering. Let's see. Yeah, if we grab R54. When I right-click, it doesn't show me the stuff in the PDF. But again, this is Paul Daniels software we're talking about here. All right, so this is going to power the stages of CPU vCore. So see this? That's going to the transistors that are going to be making power for the CPU. So it's not going to turn on the CPU if it doesn't know how much current that's using, most likely. So let's take a look here. And we've also got this, what do we have over here? Okay, so this is going to do is this chip is going to, the one that is completely corroded, the thing that's missing two legs over here. What that does is it checks the difference in voltage between the beginning of the current sense resistor and the end of the current sense resistor. And once it sees a difference in voltage there, it's going to output a value. And that value over here on output is going to tell the SMC how big is the voltage difference between those two. And then the SMC is going to extrapolate that to the current draw that it's using based on programming. So this is going to have to get a little scraped away. I would highly suggest that you check out my videos on what a current sensing circuit does, where I explain it in a little bit more detail. They're a few years old, but they are worth it. So the two pins that are missing, so that's going to go to this, and this is going to go to that. So let me just explain here. This is essentially Apple engineering in a nutshell. Are you ready? So this pad is supposed to go to here, and this goes to there. So rather than just do this and that, they do a cross. So for this to go here, I mean, rather than have this go here and that go there, they have this go all the way around to go down here, and this thing goes up there. That, like, look, like this goes here and this goes there. This goes there and this goes there. Yeah, I guess I couldn't go too long in a stream complimenting Apple. Oh, I love it. I love it. Think different, baby. Think different. Or not at all. This is going to be really hard to solder to because this trace is... all the power that's going to the CPU is going through here. I'm not sure exactly how much the CPU takes on this laptop. This is only a dual core machine. Okay. So we're going to run 2 wires, but to run those 2 wires, you're going to have some place to run them from. So that little trace that's leading up to the where the pad used to be is going to have to be scraped away. A little bit of scraping. You probably can't see any of that. Even with the light turned all the way up and the exposure turned all the way up, it's kind of hard to see that. Okay, next up. Want to go by and see the place after the stream?
Yep.
Want to ride on the back of the bike?
No, thank you.
Steve is afraid of my driving. Alright, this is no fun. This is the part that's not really very fun. Alright, I was going to go stop by just to take a look.
Okay, yeah, you can do it. You got a bike.
You have a bicycle too. I have a Fang number 2. Steve doesn't want to use the bike. Okay, next wire. How's it going, Amsterdam? Thank you for watching. Okay, do this. Alright, that's too fuzzy for me to actually see what's going on in there. Now I'm going to use the hot air, because the hot air is going to help the wire fall into where it would naturally want to go along that trace, and it's also going to blow away all the excess flux. Now I gotta find where I put my knife, because I was holding it and now it's gone. I had my X-Acto right in front of me. Did you take it? No, I gotta find mine then. I can't. No, because I'm gonna put my hand down at the wrong time and it's gonna fall on the damn knife, and it's gonna fall on the X-Acto and I'm gonna cut myself. That's what I always wind up doing. So, no, stop it. Aha, it's on the floor. It was right where I was going to put my foot. See? Good, okay. So, we have, I got to find out where I was. I was right over here. Yeah, that's enough clearance, I'm sure. That'll do. That's totally enough clearance. Alright, so now I'm gonna put some green stuff over there. Where is the alcohol? Is there an alcohol bin here? No, I mean like a full bottle. I gotta refill this.
That can't be. There's no way. Show Louis.
What?
Did you see this? This is madness.
AirPods
That's
carrying
that's a
strap for
fucking
$60.
Tim Cook is memeing us.
That can't be real. That's not real.
Oh, it's not on Apple's website. Oh, okay.
No, it's Nordstrom.
No, I thought that was from Apple's website.
No, it's not from Apple.
Okay,
It's an
okay.
accessory that Nordstrom sells.
Oh,
Those headphones are terrible.
I thought that's from the Apple store. I would have been fucking dying.
No, but like, so you bought
That's
yourself.
Apple to charge $60.
No, but Nordstrom does because they're Apple and other people. Basically, hey, you got yourself these earphones that are easy to lose. Let me get you a strap because
Fucking crazy.
these $30 ones don't come with a strap. You know?
Yeah.
A cable will keep you from losing them.
They're right.
Yeah, that's why I have the ones that go around my neck. I don't know how you use those ones without losing them.
These were $35. If one gets lost, I'm gonna fuck.
Yeah. Nordstrom sells a carrying
People think
accessory.
I think people got spoiled that I reply at night.
What?
And they expect that. Some lady replied like 6:37 or something like that. Asking for an update. We didn't get back.
We cannot. Okay, we can't be like our architect. No, seriously, it can't be one question a day. Who does customer reply?
Me.
Okay, somebody but you. Assign it to Kevin or Hannah.
Well, no, I mean they're doing
Or
it.
Dan.
Kevin-
But
But
just
the point is that
make
it
sure
was-
we're never being like the shit architect that I
Of
hired.
course not. But the point is that it was pretty much near closing, and we didn't get back to her, and then she's emailing at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Wait, is it
Before we're even here.
Can someone tell me what this
Yeah.
is? Yeah. Yeah, I left that. I grabbed the ones that get it's approved. Thanks. I just throw it at people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest I leave to people that actually
Like
talk
I
to.
can't be here at 9. You know, like people think we're gonna be here at 9.
Yeah, that's annoying. But still, just make sure no architect.
hell
No
I have
architect.
it open the whole time.
None of this like, what color should this wall be?
Oh,
Blue.
by the way,
Okay, what material should the floor be 2 days later? This.
You muted?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't give a shit at this point. You told me I need to pay $20,000 to change a basic fucking CO.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you later.
I'll mute here. I'll check. But how many times did you have to call to get an email? Okay, but wait, does this email actually answer the question that we asked? Steve, the email doesn't answer the question. This is a troll. This is a bunch of stock photos. Okay, back to fucking repair. If I think any more about dealing with shit like this, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Alright, so those two are very close together, a little too close for comfort, I believe. Let's make sure before I put the current sense resistor there that those 2 points are not touching. Let's turn Paul Daniels' software on, put it on the screen. This is not look at what is this? Camille. I asked her what color should I make this. This is a stock photo.
Yeah.
You sent me photos from like Shutterfly. I said for this specific thing that I'd like to buy, what color should I get it in? What the fuck is this?
They gave you colors to see which one would look best on that wall. So these are options that she's giving you.
I don't need options. I need decision. It's
These layouts were total shit.
yeah, these layouts were all garbage.
Whatever we thought that was better.
Yeah, this is useless.
Okay. Did what happened with the phone?
Oh, it's charging. I need to test it out.
Proximity sensor was gone, you said, or?
Yeah, it has been open before, so.
Or
If I think, man, I'm so pissed
are they
I've
gonna
ever
sue
paid these
if
people.
they don't pay? If you don't pay, or-
Okay. Huh?
Are they gonna sue if you don't pay, or?
I want to sue them for the money I already paid them. Are you kidding?
Yeah, because it wasn't like honest service or even accurate service that they gave us.
No, I paid up front a deposit of 50%.
Yeah.
But I want to, like, I'm debating whether I should even get, like, bitch at them. Well, you can't because it was a check, but, you know,
Okay.
because you're not, I sent you a straightforward question.
Yeah.
Just answer the question.
That's fair.
I'm not asking if PP Bush G3 Hot is supposed to be 8.3 or 8.4 volts on a 17 inch from 2009. What color should this be? Like, come on.
8.4, right?
Fuck. Anyway, if I think about this, I'm not going to be able to fix the board because I'm going to get too fucking aggravated. So,
All right. That's
back
fair.
to this.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this shit. I don't think that this wood jumper is long enough. We'll see. Okay, so what I did here is I cleaned that section off. Now I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to help me paint a teeny tiny bit of green stuff right over here, just so that that doesn't accidentally short or move or come off. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Donald Henson said, here's $2 to ask architect what STD Kevin has. That I'm not doing. That's, what the fuck? No. Okay. Sometimes in these situations, you notice gravity doesn't work anymore. So that's when I will use the tweezers and the knife to get the green stuff onto the board. And after we do that, you got some nice green stuff on the board. We'll use our UV curing pen, which is available at store.rossmangroup.com. to cure it, like so. Don't look at the screen right now, but hey, Steve, she didn't email me. She forwarded to me. She forwarded to you the email that she sent me a week and a half ago.
No, she said she emailed you in the morning. That was exactly her.
Yeah, and then I replied to that email.
Oh, okay.
And then she sent the same.
Yeah, there's a one-day turnaround for any question. That's what I'm saying. We can never do here.
Exact words were, I emailed him in the morning.
Yeah, but I emailed her in response to that, and I said, okay, so for this, what color?
Oh, okay.
It's like, what? Well,
I'll email her.
do I have a quota? Do I get one question a day? Is that how this works? Does $7,000 get me one question a fucking day?
Yeah.
Oh, these people are. Did she really say that I emailed him?
Yeah, no, her exact line was, I emailed him in the morning.
So at 4 o'clock, she said I already emailed him. She emailed me at 9. I responded around 11, and at 4 o'clock, she just doesn't check her email since then.
Pretty much, she hasn't checked her email then, I guess. Wait, but she had to have, because...
To forward the thing to you, she has to.
Exactly, yeah.
But she ignored mine. The same way that when you called her, she sent you to voicemail until you spam called her like 3 times.
Yeah.
We hired the wrong company. That's the thing that kills me is people will say you should hire somebody to do this right, but the problem is each time you hire somebody, you're creating another point of potential idiocy.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, like because you assume that if you pay somebody to do something you don't know how to do, they're going to do it right. But even if you can only do it to 60% the capacity, you doing it to 60% capacity is better than somebody who's qualified just fucking not doing it at all.
That's true, actually. Yeah, what's up?
All right, back to this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a transistor from a donor board, as well as a current sense resistor, and we're going to put it on this board. So we've got a nice little pile of donor boards here on the side. Paul, those are available on my own website, so I'm aware that chip is available because I sell it and have for over a year. That chip has been on store.rossmangroup.com for over a year. So I assume you're trolling me. Okay. Hello, criminal minded. How are you? So we're going to add at this pace. Now we add just a little bit of flux, tiny amount. I agree, Vico. I agree. Vimeo link no worky on GFM update. YouTube does work. Strange. Strange. I'll look into that a little later. Okay, we're just going to clean up the sides there. You know how fast that HAKKO beeps from the moment I pick it up? Okay, now here, make sure that that's making good contact with the jumper. Make sure that you're making good contact with the jumper. Make sure that middle leg is also making good contact with the jumper. Remember, I want the tip to touch both the jumper and the pin of the chip at the same time. Not just one. It's going to touch both. This cap here is clearly broken and needs to go. Get out of here. How is Phoebe? Is she a happy kitty? Is she a sad kitty? You really chase Phoebe with little drone? Oreo fucks up the drone. It's funny because
I'll never understand.
Steve's kitty is afraid of the drone. Of the 3 kitties that I have, the one kitty that's the biggest scaredy cat of everything, the slowest, the laziest, and the weakest, is also the one that's the least fearful of drone. He takes drone strikes in stride. This is usually easier with the micro pencil tip, but mine isn't here at the moment, so I'm making do with this. But it's fine. You can get stuff done with this tip. No big deal. File away some junk. That the capacitor can be saved, but the resistor's got to go. In fact, let's just take both of them. Hey, there's green stuff on my iron tip. Get out of there. Alright, some of these pads were a little corroded, so let's clean them all off. So I added a little bit of leaded solder there. And now this wick, it doesn't just remove solder, it's also really nice for cleaning. Think of it like a form of sandpaper for the motherboard. Just going to run it over the pads that look a little nasty. Like, you know, the stuff that, yeah, like this. See that? See how it just kind of clears it right up? It's like a little bit of polish, you know? Now, you have to be careful when you're doing that, because if you do that to pads that are in really bad condition, you'll just lose them altogether. And you don't want to lose them. You want to try to preserve the pads when you can. Yeah, these resistors still have their caps and everything on the side, metal ends, so that looks good. But I'm still being a little OCD and just deciding to remove them all. I don't like them. Alright, you're gone. Bye-bye. I'm a brute. I'm a brute. Obviously, there are boards where you couldn't think of doing something like this, but this one, I can do that just fine. It doesn't mind. Alright, so let's get that ready. Ready for a new QFN. Ready for a new capacitor. Still using those labels, Lewis. What labels do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what those labels are. Let's see. About to experience Samsung repair service for the first time. The screen of my S9 burns in, the charging port is wonky, and I have a feeling the speakers are dirty. I have to crank up the sound pretty high to hear from media. Fingers crossed. Well, I hope you're the best. You know, I don't see what much of the appeal is of Samsung with a lot of their new devices. I really don't get it. I tried the Samsung Galaxy S4G, the S3, the S5, and the S7, and every single one of those phones did a thing where they get slow over time, and whereas other Android phones were not doing that. And even if I changed the battery, reset to factory, all that stuff, it just aggravated me. So it looks like they sealed the battery in. You know, they're super expensive. Looks like they got rid of the active one for a generation or two, which is lame. I don't see what Samsung's offering that makes their proposition of give us $800 to $1,000 for this phone worth it. I don't get it. I don't see where their value proposition is. Like, what are you offering that's worth that much more over every other company? Because it's not speed, because the shit still gets slow over time, and it's not modularity. It looks like Erica is here. Erica was originally coming back around the 5th, but she found a hot new guy in Hawaii, so she said she's not going to come back until around the 10th or so. I don't blame her. You see the abs in the guys on the beach in Hawaii? My God. Just like 6-pack after 8-pack after 12-pack. Had a pretty good deal. The contract cost me €15 per month, free phone, free wireless charging station, and a 10 gigabyte data plan. Okay, that's a pretty nice deal that you got there. So if I got the phone for that cheap, then I would take an S9 as well. Under those conditions, I would take an S9. If it was different conditions where the S9 cost $700-800, then I don't see the value proposition at all. But at the price you said you paid, I see the value proposition for owning that phone. You know, then you can say, yeah, I have an LG G8, you paid money for yours too. Yeah, but I got mine for about $300 on eBay because somebody was pissed off it had a scratch in the back. I got 24-bit recording from my external mic, so that it's not like when it gets recompressed for video renders or for YouTube, it sounds like shit. It's nice. And I got my... I can have the thing on my bike, and it has pretty much the same image stabilization that my GoPro does. And the GoPro is a purpose-made action cam. So. Oh, I just removed the resistor. That was terrible. Can't believe I just did that. Okay, one more. I'm using tweezers that are not my normal ones, so I gotta get used to it. Alright, so it looks like right around the BIOS chip over here we've also got some soot, some junk. We're going to clear that out. Fugly. Now those termination resistors have to be good. So we're going to do a little flux, a little reflow. Not too much flux, just the right amount. Yeah, screw those resistors. If I had my T30K in, I think I could file them and make them nice, but I don't. So I'm not going to keep them there. Those can all go. And let's just scrape each pad, make sure I didn't solder on top of corrosion. Alright, I felt each individual pad. I got to see under each one. Doesn't look like I soldered on top of corrosion. Solder if you're from Europe or Australia. Even though, let's face it, solder is the way to say it. Now, I'm going to put each resistor on kind of jagged, and only when I put the last one on am I going to really let the hot air stay there. Because once I'm doing the last resistor, the heat from that is actually going to be enough that it's going to move all the others into place. And you'll see, that's with the beauty and magic of Amtech Flux. They all floated into place. Okay, now we have a chip up here that I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all. So we're going to strike while the iron is hot. Now remember, you don't solder on top of corrosion, you scrape, scrape, scrape. And once the scraping is done, then you solder to the metal that you just scraped into being able to see. So scrape. If you're only getting solder on one part of the pad but not the rest of the pad, that's how you know that you're soldering on top of corrosion rather than scraping properly. Alright, so it's a feel. It takes a lot of time to get used to it. Thank you, Sammy. Appreciate that. I love seeing all the little solder balls pop out the bottom. This board cheese never ends. So much board cheese. File. Come on, file. 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 I'm as eager to file this as my architect was to get me to pay $20K to file a change in the C of O so that I could do basic renovations. Alright, go. Yeah. Right, that thing next to that has a hole in it. So we gotta see what that thing goes to. See if that's important, needs to be rebuilt. Okay, that needed to go. Is there a pad under there that we can get to? Oh, very little, so we gotta be careful in scraping this. Scrape, 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 scrape. Gently massage it. And as I'm scraping, and what I'm looking for is for the dirt to get tossed up into that solder ball that's growing. And the flux also assists in this process. Alright, so see that resistor that was soldered on, kind of broken. By the way, this chip up here is for Alsa's power good, so the part you saw that was corroded actually was likely keeping Alsa's power good from working properly. So remember in the beginning when I said I think there may be an Alsa's power good problem, it was kind of related. Okay, so we take you. Okay. Now I'm going to wait a second for this to cool off. And once it cools off, we're going to see if we get a fan spin on this board. If we get a fan spin, that means it most likely works and we're done. If it doesn't get a fan spin, we're going to give it to David. David loves getting boards that Chris, Camille, Paul, and I couldn't solve. It's one of his favorite pastimes, actually. Come on. Cool off. Okay, so now we're going to see if the fan spins. This is my favorite part of any board repair, figuring out if the fan spins. Yeah, there's dirt on my magnet. All right, let me clean this. No, I'm out of Q-tips. Oh, I gotta. Okay, where did I put Q-tips? Here, Q-tip, 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 Q-tip.
Carousel at 3. Oh, okay.
Where are Q-tips? Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, but see, these are all. Look at this one here.
Are those the David Spear Q-tips? He bought some Q-tips that are like a spear.
Oh no, these are the regular ones.
I got spoiled by the spear Q-tip.
Chris, step into my office over here.
Thank you. I do not buy used MacBooks, no. Not a... Okay. Next. 500 milliamps, so we're going to see a fan spin in a moment. Also, I'll get a screen just so that you can see that we have a backlight. This is the elephant screen. So, the way that we tell which screen is which here is usually stickers on them, and there was a screen that had an elephant sticker on it because the customer that never picked up the machine and left it here for a year or two had an elephant sticker on it. And then when that one broke, well, it was so known in the store that we call it the screen the elephant when you need a 2015-16 A1502 LCD, not a 2013-14 or a 2012 A1425 screen. You'd see why it's easier to call things the elephant. That somebody actually drew an elephant on it at the end. All right, so let's see if backlight is showing up on the screen as well as image. We're going to put Paul Daniels' multimeter software on the screen. It looks like we are getting 5 volts for that. And backlight is also giving us 38 volts, so I imagine that in a minute or so I'm going to see a question mark folder on this. And if I do get a question mark folder on the screen, that means that we have fixed this board and it is working. It's just going to need a lot of ultrasonic cleaning to get rid of all that junk on it. Yep, we got a blinking question mark folder. So that is that. So the issue with this board was twofold. We had an issue with, threefold actually. We had an issue with current sensing on memory. The rail that creates the RAM, the rail for memory, the chip that creates the voltage rails for memory, excuse me. Cut! So one of the issues with this machine is that the voltage line for memory was likely missing. You can see that this chip was covered in crap. This is also a current sense resistor. Let's see if they show it in the circuit. Okay, they don't. There's actually a current sense circuit right next to this. That was for CPU vCore. So if we go back to the schematic and board view, right next to that corrosion, you also had corrosion in R5400. Now, what does R5400 do? R5400 takes the voltage that's present at PP bus and it passes it on as PP bus S5 HS computing. Now, PP bus S5 HS computing is going to be what powers the CPU. That's going to be the line that is used for powering the CPU. So if we just click on along here, we hit next a few times. Well, it doesn't look like Paul Daniels software is going to work there today. I'm expecting too much. We go over here, we click by the CPU. So you'll see that that is the rail, PP bus, that is going into some of the phases for the CPU. So this is a buck converter. That's going to be splitting up the 12 volts into 1 volt and sending it out as PPVCC SO CPU reg. So that resistor over there is part of a current sensing circuit. Right here, R5400. R5400 is part of a current sense circuit, and it's going to tell the SMC, hi, this is how much current the CPU is using. So everything that shows up after here is going to be a different voltage rail now that's going through this resistor. We're going to call it something different. And there's going to be a small voltage drop across this resistor. That small voltage drop across this resistor is going to be proportional in relation to the amount of current that the CPU is using, because the CPU is on this new rail. Now, that gets sent to this chip. This chip is then going to send to calculate what the difference is between this and this. Remember, the greater the difference in voltage, the more current that this new rail is going to be using, because as there's more current draw over here, there's going to be more voltage sag across the resistor, and it's going to send that out to the SMC. The traces here were totally dead, which means the SMC is not going to have any idea how much current the CPU is using, and then it may turn the CPU off. Now, we also had another problem that was more likely closer to our primary problem, right around the all-sys power good circuit. R8158 was destroyed. R8158 had a broken pad under it. Now, this circuit is required for you to create all-sys power good. All-sys power good is typically required in order for you to get CPU vCore on a lot of the older models. So over here, you need PP5VSO to be present. You need PP3V3SO to be present. PP1V5SO. P1V8S3, P1V5, P5VS3, PP1V05SO, and DDR reg to be present. If any one of those is not present, you're not going to get all-sys power good, and all-sys power good is going to be responsible for a lot of stuff within the system. And to my knowledge, on many of these, you're also going to need that in order to get the CPU to initialize itself and turn on. So ALSA's power good is going to go to U1950, which is a logic gate over here. ALSA's power good needs to be present along with CPU VR power good to get PMSOP good, which is required to get syspower OK, which is required to get PCH syspower OK, which is then going to be required in order for the PCH to know that everything's good in order to turn on other rails, and, well, you get the idea. We saw blue stuff, we sprayed stuff on the blue stuff, and then we put hot air on the board, and now it works and we get to collect money. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if my explanations were not really on point today. For some reason, my head feels kind of cloudy. I just don't feel like giving the... I don't know. Anyway, sorry about the crappy explanation, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope that some of you managed to learn anything from this video, and if not, maybe from the next one. See you later.